a wonderful class.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for joining today's class. As Felicia said, as the class is going on, if you have any questions, just please put them in the chat and Joyce will let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. Today's class is this beautiful Christmas tree cake, and it's perfect with Christmas approaching. So it's going to be perfect for any of your holiday parties or even for your Christmas dinner or Christmas Eve. We are going to be learning different techniques on how to stack the layers and how to frost smooth sides, as well as different piping techniques for the tree. And then we will also be using the Satin Ice cake drip. So that adds a really nice touch as well. We can go over to the overhead camera and then I will show you some of the supplies we'll be working with today. I have first and foremost the turntable. This is really important when decorating a cake in order to achieve those smooth sides because you'll be able to spin the cake turntable as well as use your icing scraper simultaneously instead of having to, twist a plate around. This is really going to help you get your smooth edges. I also have a cake board and I actually have it taped to the top of the cake turntable because this way it's secured and it won't move around. So I'm using, I believe this is a 10-inch cake board and the cake layers I have are about 8 inches and I have 3 of those. So that's over here. I have the pink Satin Ice cake drip and I just thought the pink was just a playful color to add to this cake. I like a lot when I see Christmas decorations that have like the pinks and the turquoise. So I thought that was a nice touch to add. You can always do the red if you wanted to keep it in the Christmas colors. Under me, I have a silicone mat because we will be rolling out a little bit of the yellow fondant today for the stars for the tree. So I have that. I have the yellow fondant 4-ounce packet here. I have some piping bags. I'm using the disposable plastic kind that you can just toss after you're done. It makes for a really fast and easy cleanup. I have my fondant rolling pin, a very small star cutter, a open star piping tip. I have the Atico brand, which is not at Michael's, but you can definitely get this exact piping tip at Michael's, but the number I have is at 822. It's just a smaller open star piping tip. I have different spatulas to help me put the buttercream into the piping bags. Let's see, I have scissors. I have my icing scraper, or some people call it a bench scraper. This is what I like to use to smooth out the sides of the cake. I have an offset spatula or an angled spatula. This is going to help us smooth the buttercream in between the layers. And I have some cornstarch in a little shaker. This is going to be used to help the fondant from sticking to our surface. I already showed you the cake layers. So what I like to do for these classes is I actually go to my local food store and I go to the bakery and I ask for cake layers without frosting and they give this to me. So this is a very nice hack that you can go do if you don't feel like baking and you just want to decorate. So those are 3 8-inch vanilla cake layers. I have some paper towels and some wet ones and dry ones because I don't have access to a sink so I can wash my hands. And I have several different buttercreams. We are using the Satin Ice ready to use buttercream today. I have the 3-pound in the bright white. This is a fantastic product. It's a very bright white color, so it tints with the Satin Ice food color gels very easily. It has a great taste and it has a great consistency because you're able to pipe or smooth out or anything that you need to do with buttercream, you can do with this because it has the perfect consistency. So I have that in the white, the blue, the pink, green, and I have purple and red. So those are just going to be for the little dollops of that look like the little ornaments on the tree. So we're going to get started. And first you will need the white buttercream and your cake layers. So we are going to start assembling the cake. So to begin, I'm going to open up my white buttercream. And depending on the climate you're in, if you're somewhere really cold and you're storing your buttercream in a room that's really cold, you're going to see that the buttercream is going to be a little firm. So what you can do is you can either pop this in the microwave for 10 seconds. That's what I did because this room that I was in is kind of a little chilly. So it was actually getting cold. So I put it in the microwave for 10 seconds and it becomes the perfect consistency. You can also transfer it to a mixing bowl and thin it down with some water if you need, but I honestly think that throwing it in the microwave for 10 seconds is really fast and easy. You might not have to do this again. It depends on where you are located and the temperature that you're in. So first, what I like to do when I'm decorating a cake is I like to take my spatula and I just kind of like to do a little dollop of buttercream in the center of the cake board. This is going to kind of act as glue for the cake to stick to the cake board so that it doesn't slide around when we're decorating it. And I'm going to take one of my layers and I'm just going to press it down so that we know it's secured. And then from there, we are just going to start adding buttercream as our filling. And since we have the other colors, you're welcome to, dollop some of those colors in the filling as well if you want to have like a little colorful splash of color in your layers. But I'm just going to use white today. But I just put it out there since we are using those other colors today and we're using a small amount. So if you wanted to put them to more use, you can add the colors in between your layers. So what I'm doing is I'm just dolloping on some buttercream and I'm just smoothing it around, and you'll see that I'm using my turntable to help me kind of smooth it around. Instead of if I had a plate and I didn't have this, I'd have to kind of shift around and move around, but this turntable does a lot of the work for you. So I'm just, spinning that, and it's kind of helping me just get a smooth layer of icing. You want to make sure that the icing is nice and smooth and even so that when you stack your cake layers, the cake is nice and straight. So what I do is I just hold the spatula down lightly and I just begin spinning. And again, the turntable is doing a lot of the work for you. And it's a nice even coating. So next, I'm going to put another cake layer on. Make sure it's nice and even. Press it down a little bit to make sure there's no air bubbles. Make sure it's nice and even. And another hack that I like to do is I like to actually, after I bake the layers, or if I just had these, like I said, I got these from the grocery store, I like to put them in the freezer because they're easier to work with that way, because it doesn't get as crumbly. And if the cake is more delicate, it's going to be easier for you to frost if it's frozen. Okay, so next we're going to add some buttercream onto this layer. So we're just going to do a few dollops and then we'll begin spreading it out. So you'll see that this consistency of the buttercream is so perfect because it's nice and smooth to spread, but it will also hold a pipe. And that's really important. Okay, so again, I'm just keeping my spatula flat on top of the icing and I'm using my turntable to do the work for me. And that's creating a nice, even, flat surface. I'm just going to add a little bit more. So again, I'm just smoothing it out, spinning my turntable. And this movement might feel awkward at first if you don't do it a lot. So the more you do this, the more comfortable you'll get. Okay, so this is one of my favorite hacks. In order to get a nice sharp edge on your cake, I like to, on my last layer that I'm stacking, I like to actually flip it upside down. So you're using the bottom of the cake where the edge is really sharp and straight. And I'm just placing it down on top, making sure that everything is even. And now we will begin finishing frosting. And I'm just going to first do a thin layer just to kind of lock in some of the crumbs. And then we will do a thicker layer after. Okay, so first, I'm going to dollop some on top of the cake. Actually, a good amount because I'll show you. I'm going to use one of my, actually, I'll use this. So I'm going to put a good amount on top.
How thick should the icing be between layers?
So someone asked, how thick should the icing be between layers? That's totally up to you. I also kind of like to go by how thick my cake layer is. So if I have a thicker cake layer, I might add a little bit more frosting. It's really your preference. If you like a lot of frosting in between, if you like a thin amount, but I kind of like to go with what my cake layer looks like too. So if I have a thicker cake layer, then I might put more buttercream in between so that it's a nice ratio. So you want to just kind of think of the end bite you're going to get when you have a slice of cake. You want to make sure that you have enough frosting with your cake so that it's not all frosting or it's not just cake. So right now we're just doing the crumb layer. So we're doing a little bit of a crumb coat. This is just going to help lock in the crumbs. So it's okay if crumbs are getting in your buttercream. If you are working with one spatula, you'll want to get another one to put extra buttercream on because you don't want to, or clean the spatula off before you dip it back into your buttercream because you don't want to contaminate the rest of the buttercream with any of the crumbs that you're scraping off. So I'm just making sure that this cake gets coated with buttercream all the way around. Like I said, we're just locking in the crumbs. It's a very thin layer. So it's okay if there's crumbs in your buttercream right now on the cake because we're going to do another layer. And your crumb coat is kind of acting as like your base layer of frosting. So you do want to make sure that it's as smooth as possible. So I'm just using my offset spatula and I'm just kind of, again, using my turntable to do the work. I'm just keeping it flat against the cake and turning the turntable, and it's just spreading the frosting. If you want, you can take another extra small bowl and you can actually put your extra frosting on your spatula if you have the crumbs on it like that and just scrape it off. So I'm just going on the top of the cake right now because I have extra frosting up here that I could be using on the sides. And if you are using like a delicate cake, you do want to be gentle when you're smoothing this on, and you do want to make sure that you're working with the buttercream consistency that isn't too thick. So like I said, if you're noticing that your buttercream is thick, maybe that's due to the temperature that you're in, you can put it in the microwave for about 10 seconds and it will soften it up for you. So right now, we are just locking in the crumbs. And I'm just going around the edge of the cake. And it's just a super thin layer of buttercream to make sure that those crumbs don't get into our final layer. So at the top here, you'll notice that I'm kind of getting a ridge of buttercream as I was smoothing it. And to help get a flat edge, what I like to do is I like to take the spatula and hover over it and kind of pull to the center. And that gets rid of that raised edge of buttercream. And we'll do that for our finishing touch on our second layer of buttercream as well. So if you're working with a frozen cake, you'll notice that when you do this crumb coat, your buttercream is already starting to kind of solidify and set. And that's kind of what you want in a crumb coat. You'll want to put it in the fridge between your next layer, so that when your cake layers are frozen, it kind of does that for you automatically. So that's kind of nice. So I'm just making sure I don't have too much extra frosting, and I'm just pulling it into the center. Okay, so my crumb coat is pretty smooth. And now we are going to be adding more buttercream, and it's going to be our final layer. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to clean off this spatula a little bit. Okay.
Is the Satin's buttercream in the container less sweet than the average American buttercream?
Someone asked if the buttercream, the ready-to-use satinized buttercream, if it's less sweet than the average American buttercream. I would say it's just as sweet, and that's just how American buttercream is. It's very sweet because it really is butter, sugar, and vanilla, and a little bit of milk or water. So it is definitely going to be sweet, but it pairs really great with a cake. Okay, so now we're going to do our final layer of the frosting. So again, I'm just going to dollop a good amount on top, and I like to do that. And then any extra, I just bring down the sides. That's just my technique that I use. And then you can always just add extra to the sides as you need, but I like to start with a good amount on top. So I start with this big dollop on top, and I first like to just smooth out the top and see the buttercream's kind of falling over the edge. As long as it's not like falling onto your plate and it's kind of just staying there, that's good. And then as it's overflowing the edge, you kind of just take your spatula and you start smoothing it out on the sides. And any extra buttercream that's coming off on your spatula as you're smoothing the top, you can take and put down the sides as well. And you want to make sure that you can kind of get as even of a coating as possible, but you don't want to smooth the top of the cake so much that you're taking off all of the frosting so that you don't see your crumb coat. You want to make sure your crumb coat is nice and covered. Okay, so I'm not going to scrape any more from the top. I'm just going to start adding more buttercream from my pail onto the sides and the bottom of the cake. And they don't have to look perfect right now. All I'm doing is just getting the buttercream on there. And then we will use our bench scraper to really smooth it out.
Smoothing the frosting, would you recommend using an adjustable height cake scraper too?
An adjustable height cake scraper. I've never seen an adjustable height cake scraper. So you'll want to use a spatula size that you're comfortable with. I personally, no matter how big of a cake I'm using, I always like to use this spatula size. I find that the bigger ones are harder for me to handle. But if you are working with a really tall cake, you want to make sure that your scraper is taller than the cake or just as tall. And you'll see as we're scraping why that helps. So if I'm working with a taller cake, then I'll work with a longer bench scraper. They make those. So, and that's just easier, especially if you're a beginner with smoothing out and decorating a cake. It's just easier to work with a scraper that's the same size as your cake or taller. This way it's all uniform when you're scraping. Okay, so you want to make sure that you're putting on a thick enough layer of frosting onto your cake right now so that when you do scrape it, we're not taking off so much that you're going to expose the crumb layer or the crumb coat layer. So you want to just make sure you're putting enough on the sides and on the bottom, an even amount. And as we begin to scrape and smooth the sides, you can always add more frosting if needed. Okay. So I think I'm pretty much done with coating the sides. And now we're going to begin the smoothing process. If you want, for your initial pass through of the cake, you can actually use your offset spatula to go around. Show you here what I'm gonna do. So I'm just gonna hold the spatula up and down, kind of angled, not completely flat onto the cake, kind of with a little bit of an angle. And I'm not gonna completely scrape, I'm just gonna kind of hover it there. And I'm just gonna turn my cake turntable, and it's gonna smooth out the buttercream a little, and it's gonna kind of take off any excess as well. This is just for an initial pass through. And then we'll go through with the bench scraper. Okay. So when I'm decorating a cake, I like to make sure that the top is completely smooth before I start working on the sides, because I like to use that technique like I did earlier with the crumb coat, where I pull into the center to make the edges nice and sharp. So first, I like to just go through the top and smooth it out as best as I can. And then I will now begin to smooth the sides with the French scraper. So this, we're pretty much going to be using the same technique. So we're going to be holding. Was there a question?
Yes, someone is unable to consume pre-made buttercream frosting due to soybean oil. How would I be able to create the same consistency?
Okay, so if you have to make your own buttercream, you can definitely go Google American buttercream recipe, and you'll find tons and tons of recipes. Honestly, one of my favorites that I like to use is Chell Sweets, CHELSWEETS. If you Google her name and you type in American buttercream next to it, her recipe will come up, and hers is a great consistency. And you can always add a little bit of milk at a time until you reach your consistency that you need. I'm going to start scraping the sides and smoothing them out. And what I do is I kind of align the bench scraper on the side of the cake. And again, I'm letting the turntable do the work for me. I'm not digging into the cake or anything. I'm kind of just hovering over the frosting just enough so that the bench scraper is touching it. And I'm spinning the turntable, and we're just going around, and you're going to see that it's going to start scraping off any excess buttercream as I go around. And you'll also see that the buttercream is raising along the edges, and that's actually what I want, because at the end I'm going to pull them into the center. So this part, getting a smooth side to your cake with buttercream, takes a lot of practice, and don't get discouraged if you can't get it your first time around. You want to just keep going through with your spatula. Another tip that I like to do, I like to work with a stainless steel style cake scraper rather than plastic, just because I can actually run this under hot water and it will get hot, and I'll wipe it so it's dry, and then I'll use that to go around the edge, and it kind of like molds the icing together and creates a really smooth edge. So that's a nice tip that you can do with your bench scraper to make it easier to create smooth sides. So again, I'm just kind of letting the turntable do the work for me. Another tip that I can give you, if we go to the other camera, the straight on camera, and I'm not sure if you guys will even be able to see this, but as you're going around the cake, you might notice that there's like some air pockets here and there, or it looks like there's less frosting in one area than there is another. You could just take some of your frosting and kind of patch up those little areas. And then you'll do another pass through with your bench scraper. So you'll kind of just, that extra fondant is going to kind of fill in those gaps. I mean, I keep saying fondant, those extra buttercream, that extra buttercream is just going to kind of fill in those gaps. And then you can just do another round of smoothing. Okay, so now with this extra buttercream that's coming up on the edges, this is perfect because this is going to allow me to get that straight edge. So I'm going to use that same technique that I did before with the crumb coat. And I'm just going to start, I'm going to hover over the edge where that extra buttercream is coming up. And I'm just going to pull it towards the center. We're just going to pull it towards the center. We're just going to keep going around until we finish. And then I'm wiping any extra buttercream into the pail. This really helps make a really nice sharp edge. Just like that. If you have any extra buttercream on your cake board, you can carefully take your spatula and kind of scrape up any of the extra. Just make sure you don't dig into the side of your cake or the bottom of your cake, but that's another way that you can clean up the edge. So I'm just going to put this to the side, and now we are going to start filling up our piping bags with the colored buttercreams because we are going to start decorating the front of the cake with the tree. So first, I'm going to take one of my piping bags and I'm going to, these are like sticking together. I'm just going to put my open star piping tip. I'm working with a small one because we want to get smaller size dollops onto this tree since we're not working with a huge wide cake. We're working with, you know, an 8-inch or 7-inch layer cake. So I am working with a smaller open star tip. And that's going to help us get those nice little dollops. So I'm not using like a coupler set or anything like that. I'm just putting the piping tip into the bag. I'm pushing it to the bottom, taking my scissors. And what I like to do is I like to see where it comes down to where I'm going to have to cut in order for the piping tip to go through. You don't want to cut off too much of the bag or else your squeezing pressure will make the piping tip go through the bag. You kind of just want to measure about where you're going to have to cut. And I'll just push the piping tip up a little bit and I'll cut straight across. Then you'll just push your piping tip down. You want to make sure it gets through the end of the piping bag, but not too much that when you're squeezing, you're going to push it through. The rest of these bags, we are not going to be using a piping tip for. We're just going to be filling them with the colors. So first, we'll start with pink. You can use whatever buttercream colors you want. You don't have to use all of these colors if you don't want. You could just use red and green. You could use any colors. So we're not going to need a ton of this. So we're just going to do, I also like to, when I use this buttercream, I also like to give it a stir just to make sure it's nice and smooth. And again, if you have to, you can pop it in the microwave for 10 seconds to get it to a nice consistency that's easy for you to squeeze out of the piping bag. I'm just putting a little bit in each bag. And until you cut a small little hole at the edge of the piping bag, you won't be able to squeeze it all the way down. So I'm just going to cut a small amount off the edge because really what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing small little dollops as like ornaments across the tree. So we don't want a big opening. Very small cut at the end. We'll fill the next. Oh, we'll fill the one that we put the piping tip in. That's gonna be for the green. And these colors are super vibrant. It's amazing that you don't have to add food color gel to your buttercream. It's ready to go. It really cuts a lot of time. So for this piping bag with this open star piping tip, we do want to add a good amount to it because this is going to be for the tree and then the tree dollops on top of the cake as well. You can always add more too. You don't want to fill it too much so that you can't squeeze it out. And just squeeze it all the way down to the bottom. That to the side. Put some blue. A little stir. Again, you're not going to need too much of the colors, so a little bit in. Put a small amount from the bottom. This is just going to be for those little ornaments on the tree. And then we just have to fill our purple and our red. Put across the bottom. Last but not least, our purple. Put across the bottom. Okay, so all of my piping bags are filled now. And for this part, I'm actually going to have to, we're going to use the straight on angle of the camera. And I'm going to just have to go to the front of the camera myself so that you guys can see what we're doing since it's on the front of the cake. So I'm just going to bring this over here. And for this part, for making the tree, you're going to need your green buttercream. And you are actually going to need your icing smoother or your bench scraper, which is this. And I'm going to come around. Okay. So for this part, what we want to do is we kind of want to mark a triangle so that we make our tree shape, so that we kind of make an outline of where we want to pipe. So I'm going to try to do this evenly. I'm kneeling down here so you guys can't see me, but I'm going to just do a slant, little indent like that. And then I'm going to do another one on the other side to make another triangle shape. You kind of want to do it as evenly as possible. I might have to redo that one. Redoing that one. You just want to make like a triangle, and your tree can be as thin or as wide. Mine's a thinner one today. So we're going to work within these little outlines that we made. And what I like to do is I like to do different piping techniques when I make the tree. So some of them I did like wider swirls, and then others I kind of just did quick little dollops. So first I like to work with the wider dollops that I did, so that those ones take up the most space. So then I know where else I have to fill in. So I'll just do some of those. So what I do is I start squeezing and I just do a little swirl like that. So I'll pick some areas where I want to do that. Probably do maybe like 4 of those. And again, you want to make sure that you're just staying in that perimeter of the lines you made. And then from here, we're going to start making those little dollops. So for those little dollops, you'll just start squeezing, stop squeezing, slowly pull away. Squeeze, stop squeezing, slowly pull away. And you just want to fill this whole triangle with those little dollops. So you don't see any white space within this triangle. And if you have room, you can do another little swirl. Basically, you just want to make sure that you're making somewhat of a triangle shape so that it looks like a tree. So I'm just squeezing out these dollops, and then before I pull away, I stop squeezing so that it doesn't create this long dollop. Okay, I got myself a little, I've got like a skinnier Christmas tree, but that's okay. So like I said, I just did some regular dollops and then I did some swirls. And then the next part is we're going to be using our colors. And they're gonna kind of look like either lights, like strands of lights, or ornaments, whatever you want. If you want to do sporadic little color dollops, you could do that as ornaments, or I did like a strand of lights. Okay, so what I'm gonna do for that then, I'm just gonna kind of make my own line. I'm just gonna start squeezing some of these colors in a line. So I'll start with some purple, and I'm just gonna do different rows. So I'm starting with purple, and I did a row here, just sporadically. You can't really see because it's dark color. And then I'll go up here and I'll start creating like another row, and they can kind of go zigzaggy if you want, like regular lights. When I'm done squeezing these, I'll bring it closer to the camera so you can see. So this is what I did with the purple, and then I'm going to take the other colors and kind of do more next to them. So then I'll take the pink, and I'm just squeezing a little out, and then I'm stopping squeezing before pulling away. And what I do kind of is I kind of give it a little swirl before I pull away, and that kind of leaves a nice smooth dollop so it doesn't have like a peak. And again, I'm just forming these lines so it looks like a strand of lights. I want to get every color in there, so I'm just leaving some gaps here and there. And then we'll go into the red. Okay, Joyce, would you mind doing the cake drip? So Joyce is actually going to heat up the cake drip for me because that's going to be the next step after this. So what you'll do is you'll take off the cap of the cake drip, and then you're going to microwave it in 30-second intervals, and you'll shake in between, making sure to put that cap on before you guys shake it. So you'll notice when you buy the cake drip, it is hard in the bottle, and that's because the chocolate it's made of is solidified. So that's why you have to heat it in the microwave to get it to that drip consistency. Okay, so my light strands are done. I'll bring it closer so you can see. like I said, you can do them, these like strands of lights, or you could do sporadic little ornaments. So the next step that we're going to do is, now that we know where our tree is, then we're gonna make our drip, and we're gonna kind of work around it. So we'll do some shorter drips closer to the tree, and then we can make them longer as we go around the cake. But we want to make sure that we don't make them too drippy that they go into the tree. And then what we'll do is first we'll start with the drips around, and then at the end we'll fill in the center. And then as that sets, then we'll do some little dollops that I turned into Christmas trees up top here. And then I think for this part, I'll stay up here so you guys can see. Does anyone have any questions? Let's see. Last question was about the buttercream. How's everyone doing? Is anyone working with me right now, or are you guys gonna do it later? Oh, I see some people working. You guys are doing great. I love that I'm actually able to look right now when I'm in the front. I love it. Okay, great. Go back to the regular view. All right, let's see. Perfect. Okay, so the cake drip is heated. Thank you, Joyce. So we took the food safety seal off. We took the top off. We put it in the microwave for 30 seconds at a time, shaking in between. So I think we did about a total of 60 seconds. And then you want to shake it really well. And you want to be able to hear it sloshing around when you're shaking it. That's how you know it's melted. So what we're going to do is we're going to start our drips. And you're going to just do really short drips here. So you're just going to squeeze a little bit here around the tree because you don't want it to get too runny. Now, as you move away from the tree, you can do longer ones. So for longer drips, do longer, squeeze longer. You want to do a short drip, you can squeeze shorter. So we're just going to move all the way around the cake. The cake drip is amazing because it's pre-made. You don't have to make this with chocolate and cream and all of that. All you have to do is heat it up and it's ready to go. And when you do this, you can move as slow or fast as you want. Okay, so now that I'm getting to the point where I'm coming up to the tree again, I'm gonna again start over here and I'm just gonna do a small drip, short drips, and then now I can start to get longer as I move away from the tree. So now that I have the drip done, I'm going to fill in the center. This is an optional part, but I think it's pretty if the top of the cake is pink. So I'm going to fill in the top and I'm just going to start squeezing. And it does set pretty fast, especially if you're working with a cold cake. So you just want to squeeze it all over the top. It doesn't have to be neat because you'll use your spatula to smooth it out. You just want to make sure you have enough that it could be spread around. So take my spatula. All right, you just have to.
You reuse the remaining drip.
Someone asked if you can reuse the remaining drip, and yes, you can absolutely use the remaining drip. As it sets, it's going to solidify again, and then you'll just have to reheat it. And if you're working with it, if you notice that it starts to, you know, get a little hard to squeeze out of the bottle, you can always just reheat it again. So you're just taking your spatula and you're kind of just flooding it into itself and making sure the top is nice and smooth. And I can tell mine is setting pretty quick because I'm working with a colder cake. Okay, so next, what we're going to do is we are going to cut out some stars so those can set up just a little bit, and then we'll start dolloping the tops of the cake to make the trees. So I'm going to come back over here. And I'm going to take out my yellow fondant. And we really just need a little bit. So when you're working with fondant, it's similar to Play-Doh. It comes out like a little firm out of the package, not too firm that you can't break it or anything. But you will need to knead it so that it does get a little bit more pliable. You want to make sure that your work surface is nice and clean and dry. And I'm working with my silicone mat. And I do have some cornstarch, and the cornstarch helps the fondant from sticking to your surface and to your hands. You don't want to use too much, because if you use too much, you can dry out the product. It's just enough so that it's not going to stick to the surface. And we're going to use a small amount because we're just going to roll enough out to cut out some stars. So we need 1 star for the tree that's on the front of our cake. And then we can cut out maybe 10 more depending on how many dollops you're going to do on top of your cake. And if you want, you don't even have to turn the top of the dollops on top of the cake into a tree. I just thought that that was like a fun little touch. So I'm just going to roll out the yellow fondant. I was kneading it just before, and that was just so that it kind of warms it up and it activates the gums and it becomes pliable.
Do people eat fondant or set it aside on their plate?
Do people eat? So someone asked if people eat fondant or if they set it aside on the plate. I've seen a lot of people set it aside on the plate, but I will tell you that Satin Ice is the best tasting fondant on the market. It is absolutely delicious. We have some coworkers who like the chocolate fondant, and they just really like to eat it out of the package. It's that good. So I would advise you to eat it on the cake. When it sets, it kind of gets similar to a crunch of a sprinkle, maybe not even that hard. It's a really great medium to decorate cakes with. So now I have my fondant rolled out nice and flat, and I'm just going to start cutting out some stars. And I'm just going to set them to the side for when we're ready. So so what I do for a clean cut, I like to press down and I like to give it a little twist so that I have a nice clean cut. I'm going to cut out, I'm working with a bigger cake here than I did with my cake that I did for the picture. So I'm going to cut out maybe around like 15 stars. I'm not sure how many dollops I'm going to get on top of the cake. So again, I'm pressing down, giving it a little twist, lifting up. I usually like to work with the plunger style cutters where it plunges it out, so you don't have to kind of struggle to get it out, but I don't have one of those today. See how many I have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. 16. Okay, I'm gonna cut out about like 17 stars. I don't know if I'm gonna use all these, but I just want them in case. On my cake that I did for the sample, I did a lot of dollops on top that were close together because I was working with a smaller cake. So now I think I might do less dollops, maybe spread out a little bit. So you can do this either way. You can either do the dollops completely around, nice and uniform. You can create a little forest of trees on top of the cake. You could do some only on one side. It's really up to you. You can get creative. Let's see what I'm going to do.
You know, Satin Ice fondant is similar in taste to marshmallow fondant. I found marshmallow fondant recipe a long time ago, and it tastes really good.
Someone asked if the Satin Ice fondant is similar to a marshmallow fondant that you would make homemade, and I would say yes.
Yeah. and
Yeah,
It has
I-
a nice vanilla.
a nice vanilla kind of marshmallowy flavor. It's really delicious. So now I'm going to start putting my dollops on top of the cake. What I kind of like to do when I do these, I'm not sure how many dollops I'm going to do. And like I said, you could do them all the way around the top of the cake. You can do them sporadically, like a little forest on top. You could do it all on one side if you want. What I like to do is I like to start on one, I kind of like to work across from one another. So I know I'm going to get like an even amount of dollops. So I'll start on one side. And I'm just doing a nice little tall swirl to make a tree. And then I'll go directly across from it. And I'll do another one. Then I'll come around and I'll go to the other side and I'll do another dollop. And I'll go again directly across from it and do another dollop. I feel like this part of decorating a cake can be really stressful because you want to make sure that you get an even amount of dollops on your cake. So now that I have that, I'm just going to now do the same thing. I'm going to go next to it, do another dollop, go next to another one, another dollop. And I'm just going to kind of make a ring around the top of my cake. They don't have to be super close that they're touching. And now that I kind of have these spaces, I'm just going to fill them in. And these are just kind of acting as little trees. So I'm just squeezing and kind of swirling to make a nice little swirl. So now I have all these trees on top. So now what you can do, you can use all the colors that you use on the front on your tree, or you can use one or whatever. I'm just going to do little dollops of these colors to look like little ornaments on the trees sporadically. This is optional. Just starting with one color and I'll go in with some others. So I'm doing the same technique as we did on the front of the cake. I'm just doing really small dollops to look like ornaments. Starting with the blue. And just going around sporadically. And then I'll pick another color, the pink. Again, these are acting as little trees on top of the cake. You can leave them plain and just put the stars. Okay. Now I'll go with the red. The little dollops. I'm just lightly squeezing, making small dollops. Along the sides of these trees. And then I'll go in with the purple and then we'll add the stars and we'll be done. So you want to make sure you're getting the backs of the trees too. Okay, I'm done with all of my dollops. And now, first I'm going to spin it around facing me where I did the tree, and I'm going to add my little star and I'll spin it around to the front so you can see it. Added the star to the tree. And now I'm going to add the stars to the tops of my green dollops. Hopefully I have enough stars. Yep, I'm gonna have enough. Okay. Adding the last star.
Someone's asking, can I use mini M&M candies to decorate the tree? I was
Yes.
wondering.
Someone asked if they can use mini M&Ms to
Will the
decorate.
frosting hold them?
Yes. Someone asked if you can use mini M&Ms to decorate the tree, and you absolutely can. As long as you're applying the M&Ms while the frosting's still wet, it should work perfectly. But that's it. That's how you make a Christmas tree drip cake. It's very festive for the holiday season, and it's going to be delicious. So it's going to be a perfect addition to your dessert tables for the holiday. It actually acts as a good little dessert to bring too if you're going to someone's house. Does anyone have any extra questions? When I was looking before, I saw you guys working and your cakes looked really good. I love when I can see you guys working at the same time as me. Okay, so if no one has any more questions, that will be it for today's class. And I want to thank you all so much for joining today's class and all of my classes. And I want to wish you all a happy holidays, and I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you.